Well, good morning or good afternoon, depending where you are. We're excited to be with you today. Today we're talking to over 111 chapters scattered throughout the world, from Brazil to Mexico to Zimbabwe to Peru to the Philippines. And we're just excited about all of you in those 111 chapters. With me today, I'm Steve Gibson, who you've seen on other videos, but with me today is someone I'm really excited about. And I'd like to introduce Robert Hain. Robert Hain is our Chief Operating Officer for the Academy worldwide. Many of you know our wonderful friend Jeremy Brewer, who served the Academy for over 3.5 years. He's now full-time at BYU, and so we miss him. But with us, as I say, is Robert. Robert has been the founding executive director of an organization somewhat similar to the Academy, except he deals with refugees and immigrants that have come to us from Mexico and other Latino countries. And we're just really excited that you're with us.
Thank you, Steve. I'm really happy to be with the Academy, and then look forward to start working with all the different chapters in different parts of the world.
Oh, thank you. And we're excited to have Robert. Robert is an experienced businessman, experienced church employee, has an MBA from BYU, born and raised in Colombia, and has worked as the international sales manager for a large corporation, traveling all of Central and South America. He hasn't been honored yet to go to the Philippines. The Filipinos do not know of Robert yet, but you're learning about Robert as we're making this video. So, Robert, today we're going to talk about a tool that many of our alumni use and many do not. And to start out today, I just thought it'd be interesting to mention that carpenters, they have a hammer. That's one of their major tools. Plumbers have wrenches. Doctors have stethoscopes. What tools do entrepreneurs have, businessmen?
Well, that's a very good question. And unfortunately, many entrepreneurs, they don't think they have a tool, or they don't have a need for tools in order to manage their companies. But there is a very important tool that we want to mention today, and that's the income statement.
Yes, that's a great tool. And I'm not sure why our alumni have a hard time using an income statement. We teach about the income statement. They know and understand the income statement. But today we're going to talk more in detail about the income statement. But before we do, let me just introduce another tool. This is called the Duty to Prosper. And this is a new tool that we have been working on and will be distributing to the chapters throughout the world in the next 60 days. And in this tool, it lists 12 different subjects. And each subject in the table of contents is one that we'll be discussing each month. And the subject for this month, as you say, is income statement. Yes. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what an income statement is, and we'll just talk back and forth. What is an income statement and why should they use it?
Well, let me start with a question, Steve.
Okay.
Let me tell you about two companies.
All right.
Okay. If I tell you that one company is selling $100,000 a year,
all right,
and there is another company, the second one, is selling $50,000 a year.
Doing only half as well.
Exactly. So if I ask you the question, which of these two companies is better, what would you say?
Well, if I was going to say which one I would own, I would prefer to own the one that is doing $100,000 a year, I think.
Exactly. But what about if I tell you that the company who's doing $100,000 a year has expenses for $90,000 a year?
Wow. So they only make $10,000.
So only made $10,000. Of the $100,000, they only made $10,000. But what about if I tell you that the company who's selling $50,000 a year has only expenses of $20,000 a year?
Wow. So they're making 3 times as much money as the company that I wanted to own.
Exactly. So that's why income statements is so important. Sometimes entrepreneurs only care about sales and the amount of sales that they're doing.
That's true.
But we also need to understand how much are we spending. In other words, of all the money we're getting, how much money are we spending, are we sending out, and how much money is left.
Right. And you know, the income statement is the tool that teaches us that, isn't it?
Exactly.
In the income statement, we record our revenues on the top line, and then we record our expenses, and then we separate we subtract the expenses from the income, and then we end up with the net profit. And so, in the first case, as you said, they would only in the 100,000 in revenues, they would only have 10,000 in net profit. In the second case, they would have 30,000. So an income statement would teach us that.
Yeah, and that's why that saying in English is so famous that says, what is really important is the bottom line.
The bottom line.
The bottom line. So that net profit is what we call the bottom line, because that's how much money is really left for the owner of the company to say how much money in reality that company is making.
You know, it seems to me like many of our alumni start out so small that they think they are running an income statement in their mind. But if they think that way, they might always be small, because this is a very critical tool. I remember when I went to a bank one time to get a business loan, and I was quite small. They said, please show us your income statement. I didn't even know what an income statement is. And so at least our alumni know what an income statement is, and we hope after today, and as they learn, as they review in our Duty to Prosper booklet, they will know better what an income statement is. Is there anything else you think we ought to say about an income statement?
I think one of the most important things about income statements and financial statements is that they are tools that help us manage the company and help us know which direction is going. An income statement in reality is telling us the ability that our company has to make money, to create wealth. That's what an income statement gives me, or gives the company or the company's owner. Also, it's very important to understand that without income statements and without all the other financial reports that we need for a company, it is like driving a car without any instruments.
That's true.
We don't know if we're going fast, if we're going slow. In other words, we don't know if we're making money or if we're not making money. And unfortunately, sometimes people run companies like that. They don't know if they're making money or not. They think because they're selling a lot, well, they may have, or they may be making money. But sometimes it's a surprise for many to see that at the end of the day, the bottom line, they're not making that much money as they think.
Boy, those are really good thoughts about an income statement. Well, I would hope that as a result of this video, chapter members, that you will strive to keep an income statement. And while we haven't discussed it, you can do an income statement on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, or a monthly statement. Most of us as more sophisticated business owners do it every month. So we would like to encourage all of our alumni, all 7,000 in all these different countries, to do an income statement and do it monthly. And then next month, let's look and see what we're going to talk about next month.
Excellent. We're looking forward to that.
Thank you. Oh, next month we're going to discuss net profit. And that's why we're in business, really.
Exactly.
To make a net profit. So again, Robert, you've met all the chapters, chapter presidents, and you've met them, all the chapter alumni through this video, and we'll look forward to talking with them next month again.
I look forward to start working with all of you, and thank you for your efforts and all you're doing at your small businesses.
And as we say in Mexico, adios.
Hasta la vista. Bye.
Thank you.